All right, everyone, welcome back to another episode of Beyond the Naked Eye. I am joined today by my high school friend and now actor, Mattea. How are you?
I am doing well. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm excited for two reasons, actually. One, because I haven't seen you in forever, so it's nice to
Since
actually
high
catch up with
school.
you. Yeah, since high school, so it's nice to actually catch up with you. And two, I kind of wonder. I'm wondering like what you're doing now. How is acting going?
It was going really great until COVID started.
Mm,
COVID shut all the sets down, and
hmm.
they're still like super slow to open up again.
So
And I'm
what
not
have you been doing?
sitting on my couch,
Nice.
pretty much.
Yeah.
Uh,
Uh,
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just like, cause like how was it going before COVID? Like, were you actually was it like things going like were they picking up like momentum wise, or was it just like
Oh yeah, it was great. When I was still in school, actually, I auditioned as a lead role for a feature film and got it, and did that movie, and I'm just waiting for it to come out now. But it was supposed to come out in the fall, but it's still not out yet because like half the crew caught COVID
oh man,
in post, so still not quite out yet. But I'm
Jesus,
excited for that.
yeah. Uh, well, I actually want to just dive right in now. Like, what got you into your career choice?
Um, I've known I've wanted to do something to do with entertainment since I was a little kid, and then in high school, I started dealing with some mental health issues, and like the my only saving grace was drama class and acting and being able to get up on stage and take out all those emotions on the stage. And I just fell in love with it and decided in like grade 9 that's what I wanted to do. I had no backup plan, and I'm doing it, and it's
Hmm.
great.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. I mean, all I know was Mary Poppins. That's all I knew. It's just like
Mary
star,
Poppins.
star in the making. I missed that. Don't you miss that? Oh, that
That
was
was
good.
so fun. I
That was so
loved
much
Mary
fun.
Poppins. I like scaring the kids with my creepy torn apart clown or soldier doll makeup. That was great.
I love that. I miss it. I still miss Miss War to this day. I wonder how she's
I
doing.
I have her phone number.
Oh, really?
I text her all the time.
That's good. How's she
We've gone
doing?
out for lunch before. She's doing good.
That's good.
Yeah.
How's she like doing with COVID? Is she like still teaching at the school, or is it like
I don't know. I haven't talked to her too much about it. I should message her and see how she's doing.
yeah, yeah, maybe. So you said that you wanted to do acting ever since like grade 9, and that was
Yeah.
the plan. So once you finished high school and went into college, what was that like? I heard the atmosphere wasn't the best, but what can you tell me
Yeah.
about it?
Um I mean, it was great for the first year. I really liked my class. We all got along really great. Um I found out pretty quickly that I do not get along with other actors. Um yeah, I found that a lot of people in the industry are very egotistical, and that's something I'm still not quite used to yet. Um, but school was great. Um, the transition from high school to college was pretty nice because high school was the worst, and college was just a ton of fun. I got to do what I loved all the time instead of skipping school and only going to drama class.
I mean, we actually talked about this quite a few times on the podcast. Like ego, you see it a lot in sports. You see it a lot in your industry. You see it a lot in like what I'm doing. So, and I've asked this a million times, but I want to get each and every one person's opinion. Do you think you need a bit of an ego to succeed?
Uh, no, I don't think so. You definitely have to have some level of self confidence to succeed, but the ego, the it's all about me, I'm the top, everyone's beneath me, like absolutely not. Like it just drives me mental. You got to be humble to some degree, You're collaborating with other people. It's not just about you. it drives me absolutely nuts. I think the best compliment I have ever received was from someone that I was dating for a bit, and he said, "Usually my rule is I don't date actors because they're all fucking nuts, but you're the exception," and it's the best compliment I've ever received.
I love that.
And it's
So,
true.
I mean, fair enough. I mean, I don't know anything about that industry because I peaked at Mary Poppins, and I'm like, you know what? Early retirement, tip of the cap. I'll see you guys later. um, so what could you tell me about what happened after college? Like, did you like land on your feet, got a job immediately, or were you kind of like just
Yeah,
searching?
in the last week of school, I got my first lead role in a feature film. I'm super excited about it. It was so much fun. I made like $8,000 in 2 months.
That's pretty good.
It was amazing. And then
So,
COVID happens.
oh, okay. So this is still. Did you graduate last year?
I graduated 2 years ago now.
Oh, okay, okay,
Yeah, it was a 3-year program condensed into two, so I went through like all through the summers.
okay. Gotcha. So, like this film that you're talking about that you got in the last week of your final year was the one that was canceled due to COVID
It wasn't canceled.
or
It's
delayed.
just yeah, the post production is delayed, so they're still in the editing process.
Okay, gotcha. Is that all you've been doing, or have you been doing like gigs on the side, or?
I've been getting like a few background gigs every now and again, but I've
Mhm.
gotten 4 auditions all year this year. I'm
Oh,
used to getting like 5 or 6 a month.
oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah,
I was gonna say like, is that a good? Is that a bad thing? But I
no,
guess if you
it's a
compare it,
really
yeah,
bad thing.
yeah. Do you are you optimistic about like 2021, or do you think it's still going to be a bit slow?
I'm optimistic, especially with the vaccine rolling out,
Hmm.
um, which I'm so excited about. I
Hmm.
just want to get it and get back to work.
Yeah, I feel you. I feel
Um,
that a lot.
but yeah, I know for a fact that summer and fall are the busy seasons uh,
Oh,
for for film, and so that's when I'm hoping vaccines will be a little bit more available and I'll be able to get right back on set.
wait, why the fall? Why is that busy? I'm curious.
Uh, the weather's still good enough and not cold enough to be
Mm.
able to film, and especially if you want fall vibes for your film.
Mm. Well,
It's
depending on where you shoot, right? Where do you go to? Do
uh
you go anywhere? Or is like, are you certain to restricted like a certain area?
uh I can go to Toronto. I've done a couple of Toronto auditions, but it's difficult because I still don't have my driver's license because I hate
Nice.
driving.
Mm.
Um, so I'm located up in North Bay right now,
Oh,
uh,
okay.
Hollywood North, a town of like 70% of Hallmark movies, which is the worst. The worst.
Shout out to them.
Shout out to Hallmark. I hate you, but please give me a job.
Oh, like you don't hate them enough to have work. It's just like, but please, I'm
I
begging
just
you.
need to work. I mean, I can't because Hallmark has very strict rules about like I have my gauges in my ears and
Mm,
tattoos and piercings all over.
mm. Yeah, I guess
So
that
I
does
can do
hinder.
backgrounds and hide all of that, but
Yeah.
it's ridiculous. I have just like a tiny little nose piercing right now, and I even have to take that out to do
Wow.
Hallmark. It's
Jeez.
ridiculous.
All right. Switching topics here. We're gonna go dive into something a bit more serious. Now, I don't know the full extent, but I know a little bit about your mental health struggles. And
Yes.
yeah.
Oh boy.
Why'd you say it like that? Okay.
There it's a struggle, all right.
Yeah. My question to you is, how does that affect your work in your industry? Because obviously acting is like a very subjective job. It's not like there's a
Mhm.
formula to get to where you want. It's like they either like you or you don't.
Yeah. Um in acting, you need to have a very strong, what we call emotional toolbox, where when you're in a scene, you need to be able to pull out real emotions, relate to the character through your own experiences, whether you've been through that or been through something that feels maybe the same as what the character feels, and you need to be able to draw on that. So I feel like the struggle that I've had since I was like 14 um, has helped me so much with my acting because I'm able to draw on the things that I've been through, the feelings that I've had. It helps so much with this job.
Well, have you ever found yourself in a situation where you didn't get a job and you're like, how the fuck did I not get that?
No, not really. One of the things that they taught us pretty early on in school is you're going to audition for things and you're not always going to get the job. There's always a million people better than you, a million people more suited for the role than you. You can just do your best and hope that you get the role that you audition for.
Hmm.
So if I don't get a role, I don't really get upset about it. It is what it is. That just means someone else did a better job, and I look forward to seeing their performance and how they interpret the character.
Oh, fair enough. I mean, I'm glad that you have a positive mindset. I don't know. I feel like my industry is also going to be like that, like broadcasting, and I feel like I'm going to be turned down a lot. But I mean, I'm glad that they have like a mindset drilled into you. I wish they gave us
Yeah.
that spiel. Feel like, yeah, no. um, so we already touched on this earlier, but I kind of want to get a little bit into specifics. Like, how badly do you think COVID has affected the entire industry?
Pretty bad. Um, I know a lot of producing companies in town are really struggling to stay afloat, even in Hollywood. A lot of the big companies are doing whatever they can to pull in money right now because it's impossible. The rules on sets are so strict right now. I know I'm unionized, which is very difficult to do. And my union wouldn't even let us look at work until like I want to say November or October.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, non-union people were allowed to work earlier on non-union sets, but everything union was shut down for forever.
So when you say it shut down, like you were like last October, November is when you were able to go, or like you have to wait until next October?
No, last October,
Oh,
November.
okay,
And
okay,
then
okay. I was gonna say,
yeah.
yes.
And then things started picking up a little bit, but it's winter, so it's slow season.
Hmm. And I'm guessing the second lockdown didn't really help.
No, not at all. I actually had done like 4 auditions. Like auditions were really starting to pick up,
Hmm.
and then the lockdown happened. And I haven't
Ah,
heard back from any of them.
that fucking sucks. I
Yeah.
mean, gladly. I'm not sure. Is the North Bay area still in like lockdown? I know some areas are like opening up,
Yeah, it is right now, which stinks so
like
much.
hard lockdown, like gray. Do you know?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's still gray.
Oh shit! I know Niagara's in gray. Gray Bruce is in yellow, which is kind of nice at least.
Mhm.
So if I ever plan on going home, that's kind of nice. I can get a haircut finally. I went like months. Like Jesus Christ! Like how hard is it? All
I just get my
right.
mom to cut my hair. It's
See,
great.
I used to do that, but my mom just cuts it like 8 everywhere, and I look like I'm in like fourth grade again. Like, tell me my haircut looks nice, mom.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but not anymore. I need like an actual proper haircut.
And
Um,
I feel so lucky because like my brother and I were able to get COVID tests to go home for Christmas. Like we completely quarantined in our house and everything to be able to
mhm.
go home. So I got to see my family and I got a haircut.
Oh, is Jackson living with you in North Bay?
Yeah, he's my
Oh,
roommate.
okay. Oh, nice. That's not bad.
Yeah,
What is
it's
that
pretty
like?
sweet. Um, well, I can't have guys over. Or
Nice, nice.
yeah. Um, but it's good. We get along pretty. I mean, he's my brother, so we argue all the time.
Hmm.
But um, we've been learning how to be better roommates. We've been roommates for 2 years now.
Oh, well, that's good.
Yeah, it's
I,
it's been pretty nice.
I don't think I could ever live with Pedro. Sorry, Pedro. I don't think it'd ever work. I think he just drive me crazy. Like we argue, like you said, we argue quite a bit, and I just get tired of his shit. Props to you though. I mean,
Oh,
like,
did we?
it works for
I'm
some people, but
I'm tired of his shit too, but
I
I love him.
mean, at the end of the day, that's all that matters, right?
I just vent for a little bit and then I'm good.
Yeah, yeah, I feel that. Okay. This is going to be a very heavy question here. Like, I'm nervous asking this question, but I'm just curious. This is just from a curious standpoint.
Yeah.
Nothing. I don't mean to be offensive by asking this, but I just want to know. So I know you are non-binary now,
Yes.
and my question to you about this is, how do you feel about people who are not against it, but they don't care for the term they or them? Does that bother you when people still refer to you as like she, her?
Um, it does. If people don't know, then I don't care. Or if like they slip up and like, oh sorry, they like that's fine. I don't care.
Hmm.
I'm not gonna chew people out for, not knowing or screwing it up or something. But
Hmm.
when people know and they purposely refuse to use the pronouns, that does really bother me. Um, it's something that makes me happy and finally feel comfortable in my own skin. And it hurts when people that I care about don't, you know, accept that.
How's that decision affected your relationships with your friends and family?
Um, it hasn't affected my friendships at all. All of my friends, uh, even my boyfriend, I came out and they were all totally cool with it. My family's a little weird with it, so we just don't really talk about it. They all still use she, her pronouns. It's something that I knew would happen though, so I
Hmm.
prepared myself for it before I came out.
Hmm. I mean, like me, for example, I'm always gonna see you as that girl I kind of had a crush on in high school. So it's like I'm happy for you that you're happy in your own skin. But I'm always gonna see you as like that girl I liked. Like, how does that make you feel?
um, I mean, it's weird because I was kind of out in high school
Hmm.
but it was gender. I was still trying to figure it out, but I was like, oh, I needed a label, so I came out as gender fluid.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know. I was very feminine back then, sometimes and not other times. The high school, I was just the worst in high school. I don't know how anyone had a crush on me or thought I was attractive. I was the worst. Oh my gosh. If you knew me in high school, any of you, I'm sorry. If I could go back in time, I would punch myself in the face. I used to wear like those freaking cat ears to school and like try to speak Japanese.
I just admitted on a public platform I had a crush on you. Now you're just shitting all over me right now.
Yeah, yeah, I am.
Oh no.
You had a crush on someone who wore cat ears to school. How does it feel?
No. I'm gonna have people listening to this like, what the fuck was Ryan into? I mean, I think the same goes for me. If you knew me back in high school, I wouldn't say sorry, but I'd definitely say like, meet me again. Because I feel like I'm a whole different person.
Yeah, I am not the person that I was in high school. I have gone through a complete transformation.
So you said that you're still trying to figure out your gender. Now, as someone who I'll admit I'm ignorant, I don't know anything about that whole ordeal. What is that like? Trying to figure out a
I'm not
gender.
still trying to figure it out.
Hmm.
When I came out in my first year of grade 12, because I failed that. Um, my first year of grade 12, I came out, and that us being in a Catholic school, and my parents being super religious and not really understanding it, I got a lot of shit for that. And it was really difficult. And so when I moved and went to college, I completely hid it. No one knew, and I pushed it down. But when COVID started, I started thinking about it more. Um, like I owe a lot to the drag community, um, because I started playing with it a little bit, and it helped me realize and start working with again my gender identity. Um, and I feel amazing and like actually comfortable with who I am for the first time in a really long time, which is awesome. I feel confident. I feel great.
That's really nice to hear. I
Yeah,
mean, do
I'm
you
the
think
best. Yay.
do you think COVID in a sense then has been a good thing for you?
Absolutely. I mean, it's been really hard because last February, my dad was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. And so it's been really hard not being able to go home and see him. Um, that's really put a toll on me and my family. It's been a really, really rough year in that sense. But I'm the kind of person where I am very introverted. I recharge my batteries by being alone. I'm very independent. I like doing my own thing. I like my own space. And so COVID has been really nice in the sense that I can just stay home and not have to deal with anybody. Um, and people ask me to hang out and I'm like, can't, COVID. And then just like sit on my couch and watch D&D podcasts for like 8 days straight.
Yeah, I remember I
um,
messaged you to reach out for the podcast. You're like, nah, not hanging out. Sorry. I'm
yeah.
like, what? Hold up, you silly fucker. That's not what I want. I mean, I guess
um,
that's good then. If you like, if
but it's
that's
been really nice because I'm spending a lot of time by myself in my apartment, and uh, it's been like I've enjoyed having nothing to do because that means I have a lot of time to work on myself. And 88 with ADHD, I don't get bored, which is amazing. And so I honestly do not mind being cooped up in my apartment.
do you think that because obviously this whole quarantine, this whole all of 2020 must have
Yeah.
taken a serious toll on a lot of people's mental health.
Oh,
I mean,
absolutely.
you're saying, oh no, go ahead.
It did for me for a little bit too, because I was pushing a lot of stuff down. I wasn't facing a lot of the trauma that I had experienced very early on in my life, that uh, still affected me that I didn't realize had such an impact on me as it did. And so forcing myself to stay inside, to spend time alone, to really think and work through stuff, it was hard. I'm I was off of my antidepressants and anti-anxiety medication for 3 years and had to go back on them because it got really bad again. But I was able to work through so much stuff that has really, really affected me, my life, and the way I lived for years. And um, I'm finally in a good place where I can say, yeah, all that bad stuff happened. Yeah, it still affects me, but I know what it is and I know how it affects me. And I can start working on healing and getting better and, you know, letting those things eventually not affect me anymore.
Well, I'm really happy to hear that. Obviously, an experience I had to deal with over quarantine was I was in a relationship, and before lockdown even happened, I was in a state where I didn't know if I was happy or not because she was a great person, but obviously you have to come you yourself have to come first. But
Mm.
since everything was happening so fast with school and like the social life and everything, it's like sometimes it's hard to kind of really take a second to think about your decisions. And
Mhm.
I'm kind of grateful for lockdown because just like what you were saying, I had a lot of time to really think and like build on my thoughts and like doing stuff. Like I wish you the very best, but I can definitely say I'm a lot happier not being in that relationship anymore and being
Mhm.
single. And yeah, and now I just feel like so much better.
You can't take care of other people unless you can take care of yourself first.
Hmm.
That's something that I have learned very much in the past couple of years that I didn't understand in high school. Um, yeah, it's COVID has been a curse and a little bit of a blessing.
Hmm. I definitely, I definitely agree. Um, Something I want to ask you is, how does it feel when like major celebrities are coming out in public, like Elliot Page, for example?
Oh,
Is that
yes.
something you look up to?
Absolutely. Um, especially with his age and like how long he's been in the industry. Knowing that he's been closeted for so long breaks my heart, but it makes me so happy that we've come to the place where celebrities feel like they can actually be themselves. It fills me with so much joy and gives me so much hope for the future in this industry. Because before it was very difficult to be able to get jobs if you were, transgender or agender or whatever. Very difficult. And this whole new LGBT awareness thing is helping so many people, so many young people be able to come out to their friends and family. I think it just has a great impact on the world, and all these kids look up to all these celebrities, and this happens, and th- there's a little bit of sense of acceptance when that happens, like, okay, maybe I have a place in this world that fits. It's so amazing to see.
Oh, that's I'm glad to hear that. Do you feel like your career has changed at all ever since you come out as non-binary? Do you feel like the job market is any different?
I came out like last month.
Oh,
so
really?
so
Has
yeah,
it been
this
that
is this
recent?
is recent, yeah.
Oh, okay.
um but I don't know. I've changed all my gender markers on all of my work stuff. I've yet to tell my agent, which I probably
Oh.
should, but I'm
Yeah,
still
maybe you should.
but I'm still willing to play gendered roles. I'm not going to limit myself to just non-binary roles because that would be ridiculous, because there's not a huge market for that. Um, it would be nice to be able to get like maybe top surgery I've been thinking about, or more tattoos and more piercings. Like I would love to be able to work on my body in a way that makes me happy, but this industry, you need to be so cookie cutter. You need to fit in such specific boxes that, it's difficult. And
Yeah,
I'm
that's
definitely going to struggle, but um I I'm not concerned about it.
yeah, that's why I kind of asked you that question because obviously, like you just said, you have to like tick so many boxes to kind of be successful in your
Mhm.
industry. And I know it's only been a month, but are you optimistic?
Yeah, absolutely. Um, I've made a lot of great connections through school and working on real sets. Um, I I'm just yeah, I'm super excited for when this is all done and I can just get back to work. Man, I love my job.
Please hire me, please,
Please
please.
hire me. I'm union, so you have to pay me a lot, but please hire me. I'm
I
good at my
remember,
job, I swear.
I remember asking you to be on the podcast. I was mainly going to focus on like how COVID has affected like your mental health and the work you're doing. And then I remember you just dropped the bombshell on me. He's like, yeah, I'm non-binary now. I'm like, it's like a whole new element to this whole podcast. But I had no idea it was that recent.
Yeah, it's super recent. I'm not even totally out publicly yet. Some people know I posted something on my Instagram and it was up for maybe like an hour, and then my mom texted me and I deleted it.
Oh, shit.
She was just like, "Why didn't you tell me?" I'm like, uh, and then I had to look up it. I was on set when this happened.
Oh, Jesus.
I was helping out with some of the film students.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, she texted me and I'm like, and had a little bit of a panic attack on set and just deleted the post.
Mm. Well, like, was that the decision like a snap of a finger, or do you think that people around you already knew that you were going in that direction?
I think some people knew I was going. I mean, I've never been very feminine, as you know.
Yes, thank you for.
I was always such a tomboy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, except for when I was like, I always tried to fit in. Like I would wear like skirts to school and tight fitting outfits and trying to show off and stuff, but it was a show. Yeah, it was because I wanted people to, you know, like me, because I thought the only way people would like me is if I fit in this uniform box. Um, and like especially when I was starting to work on my gender identity in high school, the pushback on that made me feel like I had to conform even more. Um, so I put on this mask where, oh, I can be feminine, but then I also had my very, very masculine side, which is very much my true side. Um, and yeah,
Well,
it's
you said like a couple minutes ago when I confessed my love for you that that if you can go back in time, you'd obviously want to change things. How would you, if you can give yourself advice like back then? What would you say? Because obviously you're a young person, you're still trying to figure yourself out. Do you recommend that kids come to this decision when they're younger, or do you think that process and that time is needed?
that process and that time is absolutely necessary. You know, take the time to really think, figure yourself out, get to know yourself super well. Um, but if I had any advice to my younger self, it would be you relationships don't need to define you. Um, yeah, don't be an idiot. Don't date a new person every other week. Oh my
Jesus.
gosh.
Jesus. I don't know about that. You're just making me sound worse and worse and worse. I'm just slowly falling down this rabbit hole.
No, it's fine. I definitely pined for affection in high
Mhm.
school. That's what I wanted. And so because I thought my worth, I was taught very early on that my only worth was what attention people gave me, if people desired me, you know? It was very tough to have to relearn that no, I'm my own person, that doesn't define me. I define me. Um, yeah,
I
relationships were tough in high school for me.
I mean,
It
well,
like it
one
even
thing
affected my friendships.
really.
Yeah. Well, because I most of my friends were guys.
Mm,
Like always, most of my friends have been guys. Um, so, you know, when I lived in Alberta, part of the problem I was having is that the only reason I realized the only reason all my friends were hanging out with me is because they had crushes on me. And when I left, they all didn't hang out anymore.
wow.
And so, I figured, well, if guys are my friends, they expect something from me. And so, yeah, that's high school. Hooray.
Because that's one thing that's kind of a you got to tread lightly on is, okay, you want to teach kids that you should always be comfortable in your own skin, but at the
Mhm.
same time, kids are very naive, so there's always a thin line there. So that's
Yeah.
why I kind of asked that question, because okay, maybe, if they're not comfortable in their own skin at a young age, do you think that maybe some cases that's just something they grow out of, or
Mhm.
maybe some cases they're like, I'm not affiliated with any gender.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's why I kind of wanted to ask that question, because it's just a very thin line.
Yeah, and like I'm not going to name names, but like there was someone in high school with us that was transgender in high school, and then after high school realized they weren't. They were the gender that they were assigned at birth, and uh, realized they had just made a mistake. And like I really think kids need to take the time and really figure themselves out and not just be doing it to fit in with certain people, or oh, because I'm a tomboy means that I'm not female. And like
Mm-hmm.
that's not the case. it's
Mm-hmm.
it's about what's inside, what you feel deep in your soul.
Mm-hmm.
And you really need to know yourself to be able to start determining that.
Mm-hmm. And
It took
that's a
me it took me 6 years to figure it out.
Well, that's another thing that you just mentioned, is the worst case that can happen is if you're transgender, or if you identify as they them, but you no longer feel like you do. You just be like, I'm actually the gender I'll sign at birth. You just
Yeah.
switch it back. That's just some. I guess that's something I never really thought about, because I don't know. It's just like I feel like there is a bit of maybe a stigma that maybe once you are given a gender, or once you identify as non-binary, there's no going back.
Yeah, which I was absolutely terrified of when I started coming out, because I feel like a lot of people who uh, are a different gender than they were assigned, I feel like I don't want to say have imposter syndrome, but it's almost like, is this really what I want? Is this, like, how long is this going to be happening for? It, it's scary. And I have other friends that agree with me. Like, they're questioning all the time because, it's a very frightening thing. It's a big life change. It's a big decision. Well, not even, like, I don't want to say it's a decision. Like, obviously, this is just the way I was born, but it's a big deal and can be really scary. And I feel like in high school, going back to people realizing they're wrong, um, I feel like in high school it was turning into a trend. I definitely noticed that with some people. Like, I know a couple of other people who identified as a different gender and then realized they weren't, because people around them were coming out, so they were just like, oh, I am too, just trying to fit into specific boxes.
Do you think that's something you can easily see through? Like, oh, you're not actually non-binary, you're just doing it for a trend.
I don't think so. And I say that because um there have been some people since I've actually came out as non-binary who have said to me, "Oh, it's just a trend. It's just a phase." But it's not. I've been trying to figure this out for the better part of 6 years. Um and so, if someone tells me that they're a different gender, then, I'm going to believe them. I'm going to use the pronouns they want to use. And if they decide later that's not right, then, good for them. They're figuring themselves out.
I mean, fair enough. I know somebody in my course who's actually non-binary, but I always forget to use the they them pronouns. I don't know why. It's just because like you just see them, and
I I also am really bad using they them terms for other people,
mhm.
and I'm a they them.
Yeah,
I'm
it's just
like,
it's not that I'm trying to be offensive. It's just like I see you, and that's immediately
yeah.
my thought. You know.
Like even one of my D&D characters that I've made is non-binary. And I use the wrong pronouns all the time.
That is the most 21st century thing I've ever heard in my life.
I use the wrong pronouns for my character all the time.
Well, I mean, like, from your point of view, if you have a close friend, maybe you do or don't, I'm not sure. Maybe you have a close friend who just sees you as that girl, but they always forget. They know that you're non-binary, but they always forget, and they're like, "Oh shit." Does that bother you?
No, it doesn't, because that's what I've presented myself as for a long time. And it's a big change. It's something to get used to. One of my best friends in the whole world came out a couple years ago as transgender. And that was a big shift. And I had to, really, really work hard on making sure I was using the right name, using sure I was using the right pronouns. And it took a lot of time to readjust to that. Because, I've known him for so long and I knew him as female. So yeah, it takes a lot of time to get used to. And I don't expect people to be able to get it right away. I knew that that was something that was going to happen. I know people aren't going to accept it. I know for my whole life, I'm going to have to deal with people using she, her pronouns. And I've come to terms with that.
What advice would you offer to people who are kind of like me in a situation where not against it at all, you're happy in your own skin, good for you,
Mm-hmm.
but you're always gonna forget to use she, her.
If you catch yourself doing it, just apologize and use the right pronouns. If you don't realize, you know, it's fine. They might correct you or whatever, but what bothers me is when people get angry about it. Like the people around you are trying your best. Not everyone gets it, and not everyone will, and that's something that you're gonna have to come to terms with. Um, but yeah, it just try. If you get it wrong, correct yourself. I'm not gonna chew people out if they get it wrong.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, just don't be a dick about it. That's all.
Don't
I
be
think
a dick about it.
yeah, that's the best advice. Um, what are your goals now? Say like 5 years down the road.
I want to be acting full time.
Hmm.
I do not want to have to work another freaking job.
Is that what you've been
I
doing?
no CRB checks, baby.
Oh.
No, I dread having to work another job. I hate retail. I hate having to like put on an act and smile and deal with people and uh I hate real world jobs. I just want to act all the time.
You think that goal is realistic, or are you kind of
Yeah,
just like?
absolutely. Like I said, I don't have a backup plan. This is it. If it doesn't work, I'm going to be homeless under a bridge. Like, this is my job, and I'm going to work super hard at it because this is all I want. This is my life. It's the best job I've ever had, and I'm not going to give it up for anything. Also, fuck other jobs.
I respect that, but at the same time, I'm like genuinely scared for you.
No, I'm all good.
I mean,
I made $8,000 in 2 months. I'm
you're rocking it. You're rocking
right out of college. I got a lead role on a film where I like also narrate the whole thing. Like it's
Yeah.
gonna be on HBO and Crave and maybe Netflix. Like
Wow,
I'm
that's
gonna
pretty
make
good.
bank.
Are you gonna make commission as well? It's just like 8 grand. That's it.
No, it's just 8 grand. If it's a movie about a band, and if I was in the band and had recorded the songs, I would make commission.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not.
Mm.
I
Well,
play I play the manager.
is there like a certain role that you aspire to be, or is it just like you're just willing to take anything?
I'm just willing to take a specific role is lead because I want to be able to act every day.
Uh-huh.
But no, I don't have specific roles that I'm shooting for. I'll take what roles I can get and I will be happy about it. But fuck background. I hate doing background so much.
I would actually mind being a background person. That'd be a kind of a sweet job. I'd just be like my future kids. It'd just be like Joey from Friends. It'd be like, it's me right there. It's me.
If you're going to do it, don't do it with Hallmark. I'll tell you that right now. They treat their non-union background so horribly. If you ever watch a Hallmark movie, just know everyone on that set is miserable. They're the worst. Everyone I have ever talked to about working on Hallmark films all has the exact same opinion, which is
please hire me though.
which is fuck Hallmark, but please hire me. Because you make really good money. Man, it sucks.
Just full circle. I love that. All right. That's actually all I want to talk about for this segment. So I have another one, and it's really quick, just before we wrap up here. And so the segment is I'm going to ask you questions, but this time, there's no thinking. There's no breaking it down. It's just first impulse.
Oh, geez. Okay.
Okay, Mattea, are you ready?
No. Let's go.
All right, Mattea, you have to answer. Winter or summer?
Summer.
Manga or anime?
Anime.
10 pounds heavier or 10 pounds lighter?
Neither.
Video games or board games?
Video games? You didn't say tabletop games, so video games.
Deaf or blind?
Blind.
Owen Sound or North Bay?
North Bay. Oh my gosh.
Chocolate or candy?
Candy.
Late nights or early mornings?
Late nights.
Instagram or Snapchat?
Instagram.
Final question. Mrs. Ward or Jackson?
Mrs. Ward.
Yes!
Jody. She gets mad at me for calling her Mrs. Ward now. Jody.
Jody. Shout out
Jody,
to Jody.
I love you.
That had to be the final question.
Yeah.
I'm so glad with that answer. All right, Mattea. I really had a good time. I thought it was a really good conversation.
Yeah, me too, man.
As part of this final bit, I want to roll out the red carpet for you. So plug whatever you want.
On Friday nights, I play D&D live on Twitch at Guys Gone Wildmount. We play at 8 p.m. EST. No, we play at 9:30. Yeah, we play at 9:30 EST. And it's a ton of fun. Yes. I took a shit last time in the game. Someone punched a shark. It's a lot of fun.
This has been the weirdest plug I've ever offered to anybody.
I love Dungeons and Dragons.
We'll end it at that. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in for another episode. I've been Brian Correa, and I'll see you next time.
Bye.